joined by this fantastic panel today to discuss the role of the media in highlighting the gender gap in the higher judiciary. I'll admit, when first thinking about this topic, I had a sort of defeated approach to it, I think, which is to say, hold on, what can the media really do in a space which is largely a call to action, a call to legislative and judicial action? What can the media say when what we're really looking for is collaboration from these bodies to ensure that the courts look like us? And then I was talking about this to a friend who said, "Par are yaar, media to sab kuch chalati hai." And I think what they were alluding to was the power of storytelling and the power of narrative building. And the idea is that media plays a critical role in what we talk about and the stories that we talk about in our everyday, but also how we think about it. So take a simple thing like appointments of judges, right? This is a fairly obscure process. This is not like elections where the public is involved and there's a big, sort of performance of it. This happens largely behind closed doors. Much of the process is obscure. We don't know what the considerations are. And in situations like this, we have the media that sheds light on what the considerations were. We have investigative reporters who talk to people and try and identify what these obscure processes are and bring them to light, and then bring them to main course debate. And organizations such as all of ours have the great role and responsibility of de-shrouding these institutions, and with them, shedding lights on deep-seated problems such as lack of gender diversity, as well as identifying the core and undeniable value of these institutions in our everyday life. And our panelists today have been part of undertaking this critical and even noble work of shedding light on the judiciary. Today, our specific focus will be on the role of the media in talking about gender diversity in the higher judiciary. We'll talk about the need and power of storytelling and data-driven narratives, and how it can shape public discourse. We'll talk about the challenges the media faces in this endeavor and the challenges and strategies we need to adopt to use the tools at our disposal to secure equal representation in our courts. Shedding light on how we talk about women in the media, and I think it's such an important point to say that when we talk about domain experts or we talk about women in this space, where we also recognize qualities in them that is beyond their gender. We also talk about just expertises that they have, and to see them on par with anybody else, any other experts in the field or any other resource people that we may reach out to. And to also talk about how some biases seep in unconsciously in the way we write, and to also talk about how biases seep in the way we exclude people from our stories. And I think this is how, when we build narratives around courts, these are things that we need to keep in mind. And I think especially the role of the media is even more important, and the way we talk about courts and women in courts is even more important when a lot of reportage is divisive and hateful, and to talk about them in encouraging ways, I think, is very important. So thank you for that. The question that you asked, which is when we hear great numbers of, oh, there are a lot of people, a lot of women now in district courts, that question you asked, uske baad kya? I think that's the most important thing. That's the starting point from which media folks and journalists should begin with. And it's also, your story reminded me of something Justice Leela Seth narrated when she was sitting in the Delhi High Court. She said one day she hears a lot of noise around her courtroom, and she says, what's happening here? And a giant group of tourists have come to see the first woman judge in a court, as though she's an attraction or something a tourist would see in the city. And I think these are the kind of experiences that I mean, just Leela Seth was a few years ago, but I don't think we're so far from it even today. Media houses have the responsibility to come up with a coherent strategy and ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Why are we telling the stories that we're telling? And then that, like Apurva says, informs the way we tell these stories. And then, so we're sort of working towards the desirable change that we want to see. And you're so right to point out that we really do need to ask those follow-up questions, which is when Justice D.Y. Chandrachud said, oh, we don't have enough women to choose from. I mean, our recent appointment, 11 judges are superseded because we don't have a Chief Justice from Calcutta, So I think certain considerations are made in certain points, but the push really is to say, okay, but can you look at this? And identify that, say now once Justice Kohli retires, we just have the one judge who we are celebrating for a 36-day Chief Justiceship. So I think that's so important. And I mean, taking off from Jyoti's point as well, none of these stories are isolated incidents, right? Like you point out, whether these are coordinated efforts online or whether it's one toilet that is broken in a district court somewhere. None of these are isolated incidents. They speak to a pattern about the way we treat women in our professional spaces and in the judiciary.